Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. So today we are going to see how to process the Beachhead Nebula right from the stacking and the post-processing. So it was in December when I traveled to a dark place nearby, and I managed to capture around like 4 hours of data on the Beachhead Nebula. So if you see, these are the raw files which I captured. So this is a 2.5 minute single sub at ISO 800 and f2.8 with my Canon T3 modified tracked on this Skywatcher Star Adventurer, and I used the Samyang 135 f2 lens. So if you see the single sub, you can barely see the Witchhead Nebula here, and this is the Star Regal. So let's begin. So for stacking, we're gonna open the Deep Sky Stacker, the best stacking tool so far. So we're gonna import all the light frames in it. I have around 100 light frames, each frame of 2.5 minutes. Then we have a few calibration frames. So we have a few bias frames. So I have around 30 bias frames. Then we have around 15 dark frames. And then we have around 20 flats. S- So we have imported all our light frames and the calibration frame. So let's just click check all here. Then go to register, check pictures. You can come on advanced and just click compute the number of detected stars. So I normally, adjust the threshold so that I get around 200 to 250 stars. So right now it's like 2724, so that's too much. So we are gonna drag this slider and make it to 75%. Let's see how many stars does it capture. So it says around 829, so we're gonna drag a bit more, make it to 90 and see. Oh, it's still it's still fetching 444 stars. So we're gonna make it 95. Well, that should be enough. 357 stars, around 95%, because if I go further, it may not detect any star. So 357 is fine. Then we're gonna come back and check the recommended settings. So this looks good. Everything is fine. We're gonna use the Sigma clipping median combination. That's fine. Uh, and the stacking parameters, we're gonna use the standard mode. We're not enabling any drizzle. So this looks good. So you can just say, okay. So if you see, it will show you how much total exposure you have. So it says around 4 hours and 7 minutes and 37 seconds of total exposure. And I guess one of the frames of 40 seconds. I'm not sure where it came from, but that's okay. So we have around total exposure of 4 hours, 8 minutes and 17 seconds. So just click OK and it will start registering the frames. And then it's going to start stacking. So that's going to take another 10 minutes. That's it. We are almost ready, and now we should have our stack in front of our eyes. There you go. So this is our stacked image of the 100 frames that we captured. So now we're going to open this stack inside PixInsight. So open the PixInsight and just double click, and it should have the open box open. Okay, so once you open this file in PixInsight, just press Ctrl A. So that's the auto stretch. You can see the Witchhead Nebula bit here and some nebulosity. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna run the automatic background extraction, or you can run the dynamic background too. But if you're starting, you can use the automatic background extraction, so it will um, extract the background automatically with its own algorithms. So just select the correction method as subtraction and just drag the triangle here on the image. It will open a new image with an extension called underscore ABE. Just press Ctrl A again. Now you can see you have pretty much of nebulosity popped up. Now I see many gradients in the image, so let's try to run the dynamic background extraction. Open this and then just click the image. Set the tolerance to say 3.5 and go to sample generation and click generate. So it will generate few samples on the image. So wherever you see the vignetting, especially on the edges, you can just simply click and add some samples there. If you don't want to clip, you can just move the samples from the nebulosity, so you don't want to clip it. And then select the target image correction method as subtraction and just drag it on the image. It's going to open a new image with an extension called underscore DBE. Again, press Ctrl A to auto stretch the image. And you see, I can close this, and you see the gradients are pretty much gone in this. You see more of the uniformity across the image. For example, this dark portion near the nose of the witch, it has gone. So this looks a pretty good image. So you can minimize this and keep it aside. You can close the background so you don't need that. Now, the next step that we're going to use is the color calibration and the background neutralization. For that, you have to generate few previews. So you have to click on this icon here and you have to zoom in as much as you can, and you have to select a portion which has no stars. So basically it has only noise. For example, this portion looks good. So drag your mouse and create a rectangle. This can be a very small portion, doesn't matter how big it is, or probably you can select some other area around across the edges somewhere. So you can probably use this part. and then create one more preview that will cover the most of the image, like the nebulosity, the main part of your image. We create two previews and then we go to process, go to background neutralization. Here, reference image, you have to choose the preview one. So that's the small part of the image that you selected. So you have to choose that part, click OK, and just drag the triangle on the image. You can close this. Next, open the color calibration. Here, white reference should be the preview 2, the bigger one that you created for the most of the nebulosity. Click OK, and the reference image here should be the preview 1 for the background reference, and just drag the triangle on the image. Now you can press after color calibration, after dragging the triangle on the image, what I did was I pressed F12 and then I pressed the auto stretch Control A. Well, and then you can go to preview and just delete the previews. We don't need them. Okay, so next step, what we're gonna do, we're gonna try applying some ACDNR to remove the noise to see um, like if that makes any difference. So just select the lightness mask, reduce this value as per your choice in the chrominance, and just drag it on the image. This takes a bit time. Okay, so I think the previous one was better, so we're gonna undo the changes here. So next what we're gonna do is open the screen transfer function and then open the histogram transformation and just drag the triangle from screen transfer function to histogram transformation. You can see the histogram changes and then just drag this triangle onto the image. Then you can close this, and after this click on the image and just press F12. So now you see the next step is going to be the adjustment of the colors and the curves. So before that, what we're gonna do is we're gonna crop this image because you can see a bit of the overlapping here. That's because uh, while imaging, I used to dither the image, so the field of view has moved a bit. That's why while stacking, you can see this overlapping or the edges on the frame. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use the dynamic crop function, and let's say we're gonna select this much image. For example, let's say, okay, this one should be fine, and just say execute. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna use the range selection. And then click on this circle here, so that will open a real-time preview of the image. And then just drag the slider on the lower limit to, let's say, 27, 28 till you get the nebulosity properly. 28 is fine, and then adjust the smoothness. And then drag this triangle on the image. So this will create a range mask, and after that, just you see this range mask written here. Just drag it down to your image like this. So it will apply the range mask, and you can minimize this. Now you can see pretty much only the nebulosity of the which is selected, other everything else is masked. So now you go to the process and curves transformation. Click on the circle to open the preview and go to the saturation curve. You can adjust saturation so you can get a bit of a color in there. So select this and drag the triangle. It applies. If you need more, drag it once again. Then you can close this and you can go on mask and say invert mask. So now you see the nebulosity is masked and everything else is selected. So we're gonna do this to increase the contrast. So just open the preview again and come on the RGB chrominance curve and then drag the slider or the curve bit down. So if you see it turns darker, so more you go. So you have to make it like a bit up, sorry, should be okay. Just drag it. We're gonna increase the saturation of the nebulosity again. So for that what we're gonna do is we're gonna invert the mask again. So the nebulosity is selected and then you can come on the saturation curve here and increase the saturation. So you see the red color. Okay, so now you can close this and just go to mask and say remove mask. So this looks good. Now the next step what we're gonna do is we're gonna use another range selection because if you see this star wriggle is pretty bright, so we're gonna make it we can reduce the brightness of the star. So you're gonna make another range selection and go to real time and then drag this slider so that you only select the star there, nothing else, and then create another range mask just selecting a star. Drag it on your image, then go to curves transformation, open the preview. You can reset your curve or histogram by clicking here, reset, and then go to the preview and then come to the RGBK curve and just drag it down. So you see the star brightness is changing, so you can get a bit lower and then just apply and remove the mask. Okay, that looks good. Now the next step what we're gonna use is use the SCNR just to see what happens if we remove the green color. So just say color to remove is green, keep the values default and just drag the triangle. So you can see the difference in the image. The green color has disappeared. And then the last step which we're gonna use is the star mask because you see a lot of stars and the nebulosity is like kind of hidden behind the stars. So we're gonna reduce the stars now. So just open the star mask, keep the values as default and drag the triangle. It will take some time but and create a star mask. That's it. Now drag the same way as you drag the range mask and apply it to your image. Then go to processes and morphological transformation. You can select the 5 if you want. I select the circle here, this one, and then you can hide the mask. So for example, just say don't show mask. Just click the show mask, it will hide the mask, and now you can um, let's say keep the values default and just drag it. So it's going to reduce the stars on the image. So that's pretty harsh. So we're gonna undo the settings and we're gonna drag the slider low to let's say 0.65 and then drag it. That looks good. We're gonna try to apply one more with a bit lower value, let's say 0.39 or 0.40. Just apply it. Okay, we're gonna undo this and make it like 0.28 maybe. Okay, so that looks good. Um, okay, what we see is the stars are a bit reddish. So what we're gonna do is we just close the mask and then we're gonna do the channel extraction into RGB. Just drag it on your image and it will give you the 3 channels. Um, come to the red channel, open the star mask that we created and just apply that star mask to the red channel, the R channel. And then go to process, morphological transformation, and just drag this on it to reduce the stars, maybe zero point 0.4, zero point 0.5, that's it. Remove the mask and then again combine channels. You come to the channel combination, just put the red channel to R, B to blue, sorry, green to G to green, and then B to blue. And just select this, click this yellow icon here. So that's gonna create RGB image again. And you see the stars are less red as compared to this. If you see this, stars are less red as compared to this, the other one. Okay, so that's it. That's our final image. So we're gonna save this image as we're gonna close everything so that you can see the image better. There you go. That's it. Now we're gonna export this image, like save as, then you're gonna rename it as, let's say, it's IC2118. This is IC2118. By mistake, I have written NGC, so it's IC2118. Say save, use the 16-bit unsigned integer, everything okay, and just click OK. Or you can even save as PNG. There you go. That's it. Our image is ready. If you want, you can open this image in your mobile phone. If you want to, you open the image in Photoshop, maybe Lightroom if you want to process the colors more. And you can tweak the colors. You can change the histograms again. I still see some vignetting on the edges, but we can get rid of that using the automatic background extraction, so you can simply crop it off. But this was just to show how you can process your Witch Nebula. So that's all, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope you understood my simple workflow. I mean, this is a pretty simple workflow. It's not complicated at all. It's very straightforward, and you can try it on your images. And this workflow works almost for all the deep sky images. I use the same workflow for everything. Yeah, I do tweak more or less like the curves transformation. I do it a couple of times more or less. But yeah, these are the only functions I use to process my images. If you still want to adjust the curve transformation, just select the curve transformation and increase the saturation a bit and just apply it. That's it. There you go. That's your final image. So let me know if you have any queries, if you need any help, just write down in the comments below and I'll try to help you out. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for joining.